welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for our new week, our last week of the year 2025, WikiTree Challenge number 10 for George Morgan. And we do have George with us on the call today. Thank you, George,
Hello.
for agreeing to be a participant this year. We're very excited to have you, one of the
And
co-hosts
I'm
of the
excited too.
Genealogy. Co-host of the Genealogy Guys podcast, the longest running genealogy podcast in the world, and of course the author. So what we'll do is I'm just going to go ahead and give an outline of the challenge. We do have some new challenge participants this for this challenge, so we want to make sure we cover the basics, and then we're going to open it up to George to share what you'd like to share about your brick walls, any family mysteries, or anything else about your family that you'd like to share with us. And then we'll open it up to the participants to share where they're working, if they have any questions, and we'll go on from there. Team captain for your week is Fran Pickett. She's going to be kind of leading everyone for us.
Okay. Hi, Fran.
Hi there.
You're going to make lots of progress, right?
Yes,
And I won't have any
yes,
brick walls left, right?
not one. Correct.
Yep.
Well, with as few people as he's got connections to, we should be able to really rock it.
Yeah.
Great.
So our starting point, hopefully y'all can see my screen. I'm sharing the free space page for the challenge. A free space page on WikiTree is just what it says. It's free for you. You can use it for almost anything. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later. But right here at the top, we have links to, of course, all the important information, our guest star. I'll get that link added there. It should link to George's profile. And then we have our team captain. Fran is on the call with us today too. Thank you, Fran, for stepping up to lead the week. Really appreciate it. If you have not taken part in the WikiTree Challenge before, there is a short introductory video here linked to kind of give you a walkthrough on how to do it. And then if you are not on Discord, it is definitely recommended that you join Discord. It's a great way to communicate and collaborate with the other participants. There's a link here to the help page and another short video showing you how to get connected to our WikiTree Discord server. It is a real-time chat application, so it's really a really great way to keep in touch with everybody and get answers right away or help out others that may need it. All right, so the score sheet should be up. Let's go ahead and refresh that page here. Let's see. There we go. Oh, Karen Lowe already has some edits on the board. So this is the scoreboard where you can see what's happening during the week, how many profiles have been added, the bounty points. And then across the top here, of course, are your links for the connections, profiles, distances from George to all of the previous year's challenge participants, and then suggestions from our database suggestion system, the WikiTree Plus system that we use that gives us errors or suggestions for cleaning up the database. So there, the first report should be there for us. There are those of us who like to make sure that we keep keep it all cleaned up. So looks like it's not quite ready yet, but that's where that will be. And of course, we'll have 3 suggestions reports that will be for this challenge. There's this first one. There's the one that will be available at the beginning of the next week, and then the following week. So for each week of the challenge. All right, so back to the space page. Our first section now is for where you can ask for help or find where to work. So we have categories that you can add to profiles for saying that a profile needs work in the biography or it needs profiles created. maybe it needs a military template and you're not comfortable doing that, you can add that category to the profile. And then other members, participants can come along and they like to work maybe on creating biographies, really well written biographies. So that's where you can find some work. There's also the threads in Discord for categories that might be needed or profiles that might be needed for maybe you can't work on a certain line, you're working on the other sibling. You can put in there that profile has more family members that need added. Also, during the WikiTree challenge for our guest, we expedite merges. That's something that Aowen and I can handle for you. So that channel is, or that thread is where you can drop in the WikiTree profile ID for merges or last name at birth changes. And we'll get to those as soon as we can. If you have photographs that you come across in your research that you'd like to get uploaded and you're unsure about whether or not it can be uploaded to WikiTree, you can add the link here. Please do check the help section first for the photo fact help page. Try to work that out on your own, working through that page. Also check the website's terms of service to be sure. If you still are unsure and you'd really like to use this picture, this is where you can drop the link and make sure that you sign off with the 4 tildes so that we know who submitted the request. And just to kind of give you an idea of what that looks like, you just put in the URL here, and then if you put the 4 tildes in a row and save it, now if you go back to the page, you can see what that looks like. It signs and dates it for you, so we know how to get back in touch with. So that's one of the key things to keep in mind for the space page use is throughout the page as you make entries, please sign off so we know who made that entry. So the next section is family search image lookups. Sometimes when you're on family search and you found a record for someone, it says that it's not viewable unless you're at a family search library or affiliate library. So this is a place where you can come and drop that link and sign off. And we have volunteers who are actually close to affiliate libraries or centers, and they have volunteered to do that lookup for you. Again, sign off so we know who to get that back to. Okay, and the next section of the page, again, this is your page. So your page for collaboration and communication, so feel free to add to it. This is a fun section. We are showing here the locations that we're already in within the 7 degrees of George. And as you come across more counties in England or states in Germany or United States, you can add them here for us to all share. Just some fun to see where we go throughout the week. And then we have our first opportunity for bounty points are the interesting finds. So these are each worth 10 points as you add them. And again, make sure you sign off with the 4 tildes so we can award those points. And if it's interesting to you, it's interesting probably to everybody else, so go ahead and add it. We love to share all that information with our guest stars. And the military section, please add any military profiles that you come across so we can share that as well. And then here's a section on free space pages. Free space pages are great for sharing maybe an event, an interesting event that occurred. If you come across something like that, and there are a lot of people in the family that was at that event, you can, or a story that happened, you can tell a story of something that happened, and then link to all the different ancestor profiles. Sometimes you don't want to take up the space on the ancestor profile, but the free space page gives you the space to tell that story. Another way you can use a free space page, of course, is for a will. especially really long ones. You don't want to take up the space on the ancestor profile. Free space page is a great way to get that all written out, and you can link to all the people who are mentioned in the will, and then link back to it from the ancestor profile. So please share any cemeteries that you come across that are have a lot of the different family members in, or maybe you created a cemetery space page. Share with us that you did that. That's great. If you come across name studies or place studies, or maybe you want to start one, go ahead and add that there. The name studies project, there is a join. You can request to join the project and have a name study started, and same with the place studies. But we'd love to hear about those, so be sure to add them as you come across. Okay, the next bounty opportunity is making distinct connections to the tree for these 8 lines. So as you make that distinct connection, go ahead and answer the G2G post answer for that ancestor and let us know. Please be very clear that that's what you're requesting is the bounty point for that, so that we know to assign that to you. But that is where you claim that is in G2G. About midweek, Celia, I think you're on the call, aren't you? I think I saw you come in. She will go through and kind of find some profiles that she would like to have you find the parents of, for instance. So it's not necessarily George's brick walls, but they're just walls that she's opening up for you all to earn bounty points. So the distinct connection, when you make that one, that's 15 points, but the brick walls, that's 25 points. So there's your big scores for you. The next section of the page is where you can find the Zoom and YouTube schedule and links. So go ahead and go there. As the recordings for the Zoom meetings are edited and uploaded to YouTube, they'll be added here. So you can check that.
Good.
One of the main reasons, of course, that we started the WikiTree Challenge was to help spread the word about WikiTree out on social media and within the genealogy community. So there's a whole section here where we're sharing the official WikiTree posts for the challenge. So you can share out, retweet those posts. You can see down here, here's an example. I did mine on my personal social media. I shared that I'm a challenge participant. You can do the same if you'd like. There are images that are part of the space page. Let me take you there, that you can use. Or if there is an image you'd like me to create for you, feel free to let me know. But you can see here we have some images that are attached to the space page. There's one for interesting finds, or just saying that you're participating in the challenge, and it has the link and all the information for the challenge. All right. And then the last section, almost the most important part, is where you can find the resources. So again, add to this as you come across important resources that you find. The general WikiTree sources, there's important links here for you. There's also a great link here that Alesh has for us. It's a query for active challenge profiles with no parents. So it's kind of giving you a starting place, showing you any profile within 7 degrees that have no parents already. Gives you somewhere to start. And other queries that you can do, examples here. And if you don't have the WikiTree Sourcer, I definitely recommend that browser extension because it makes moving profiles over from Ancestry or Family Search, for example, really easy. Just a couple of clicks and you can bring over the profile, the sources, and it writes the biography for you. So check that out. If you have questions about that, please feel free to reach out. If you come across any African American profiles, please be sure to add the African American sticker to the profile. And then we have resources for those profiles there. And then we do have the WikiTree source library. Please check that out. It, of course, has resources by state or country, but also it has family genealogies. So check those out. It's kind of a great place to go if you've kind of run out of places to check for things. And of course, add to the space page if you come across really helpful sources for the family. And then linked to the top of the page, of course, is the GTG post that everybody registered on. And that now has the 8 great-grandparent lines that you can claim the distinct bounty connection for. Mm-hmm. So that's where that's at. And of course, that's pinned to the top of G2G. Since that's an active challenge now, the challenge has started. And we will go ahead now and open it up to George. Please share with us any family mysteries or brick walls or places where you'd like us to focus on, maybe.
Great. Thank you very much. I'm really excited to be here. Greg has his granddaughters there, and they're having lunch, and they're enjoying this in the background. And he said it's a snow day today, and I can really identify because we had in my little hometown in North Carolina in January of 1961, long time ago. We had 6 inches of snow every Wednesday for 5 weeks. And on those snow days from school, the place where I was deposited was at my aunt and grandmother's house, my father's mother and his sister. And to me, I was bored, and they decided, how are we going to occupy this child and keep him under control? And so this suggestion was made, well, why don't we draw out a family tree? Now, my grandmother Morgan was very full of herself. She thought she was from aristocracy. Her biggest shock in life came when she gave blood the first time, and what came out was red and not blue. But here we are with her. She's very proud of her ancestry, and it goes back through her family, the Wilsons, the Pattersons, back to the Alexanders, who settled in Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, Charlotte. And they were responsible for creating the purported Mecklenburg Declaration of Independence, signed May 20th, 1775. So she got me kind of hooked on that. She had a book in her possessions that had been published in 1902, and it was a history of Mecklenburg County, and it went from the earliest days on up. There were photographs in there of my great-great-grandfather, and probably the only photos that still exist. And so I got excited, and we sat down at a drop leaf table that I still have. We took some parcel paper out, a straight edge, and a pen and pencils, and we started filling it in. And my grandmother's telling me stories, and my aunt is telling me stories. And my grandmother was a victim of the Depression, so she saved everything. She was a pack rat. Thank God for pack rats. And she had a piece of furniture. I don't know if you know what a chifforobe is. It's like a freestanding closet. But this one that she had had a drawer underneath. And in there were all kinds of ancient pieces of paper. There were deeds, there were wills, there were marriage licenses, there were receipts, you name it, it was in there. So over time, I have been through all that stuff. Now, thinking back, we're going back almost 65 years now when I started this thing. So I was 9 years old at the time, and it got me started, and I was immediately hooked. And it turned out that our town librarian, we had we had two librarians. Our town librarian was our neighbor across the road from where I lived, and she was a member of the DARA. And the DARA was important to her. And she shared with me lots of things in terms of resources and how to get started, and that really helped. Over time, I've started working on. I've been working on my other lines. My Morgan line is a brick wall. I go back through the Morgans to my third great grandfather, Reuben Morgan. And so if you look at the family tree that's up on the screen now, you'll see Rainey Baines Morgan. And Rainey Baines had a father named Goodlow, Goodlow, Warren Morgan. I got the middle name Goodlow. And then his father was Reuben Morgan. And I believe he was born around 1784, and he died on October 1st, 1866. I can't find any records of his death or of his wife's death. I've looked in, all the find grave sites and billion graves. I've looked all over. And I looked again yesterday, and I cannot find anything. And of course, people say, oh, you're a Morgan, you must have ancestry from Wales or at least England. And I would like to be able to say I've gotten back there, but it's just uh, it's a brick wall. So that's a major one for me, because I would like my surname resources going back as far as I can. I've found a number of things using family search, full text search in documents from Caswell County. I have found property records. I've found them in census records. I just found, as a matter of fact, yesterday I came across again uh, the uh, marriage um, agreement here from when Reuben Morgan married Polly Merritt in 1809. The Patterson line, I have to tell you why I'm so excited this morning. You know how what a great thing WikiTree is, because you collaborate with one another, and so you can do with Ancestry and MyHeritage and other places where you can post messages or send email to individuals to ask about their family tree. Well, I have to tell you that I did that back on November 17th. Um, I sent a message to a fellow looking for information on a William Patterson. If I go back through my father, Samuel Thomas Morgan, Laura Augusta Wilson, Lydia Lenora Patterson, Lenora Lydia Patterson, excuse me. If I go back, her father is a William Patterson. Thank you. And so I'm looking for information there. But this fellow responded and told me who he was related to, and said, "Oh, by the way, you may want to look at the Patterson papers." And it turns out that he gave me a link to the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. And the Pattersons were in Mecklenburg County, the Charlotte area. And I went to that page this morning, just about an hour ago. I went to that page and started looking, and I read the very long abstract of what's in the file. And then I clicked on a link to go to the Patterson papers. And by golly, they've digitized them and the images are out there. So what do you think I'm going to be working on this afternoon? I've done a pretty good job going back on a lot of lines. On my mother's side of the family, um, uh, it just asked about Alvis Martin Weatherly. And he was born in Talladega County, Alabama in November of 1852. And, uh, and then he and his wife migrated to the Rome, Georgia area, and I've got a lot of family connections in Rome. But Alvis was a neat character. It turns out that he had two patents. One for a steam release brake improvement for uh, passenger trains or for freight trains, and another one for the design of a privet fence. And so I found those patents, 10, 15 years ago, and I thought, well, this guy was pretty clever, wasn't he?
That's great.
If I go farther back, Alvis Martin Weatherly was my great grandfather. Weatherly was my great great grandfather. His father was James Weatherly, and his father was a fellow by the name of Thomas Weatherly. And all I know is that he was a drummer and a fifer in the Revolutionary War. He was born in 1734, I believe, in Kent, England, and he died in 1785. And his gravestone, actually is in Find a Grave in a cemetery in Beaufort or Beaufort. Drew, what is it?
In North Carolina, it's Beaufort.
Okay. So in Beaufort, North Carolina, there is his gravestone. And so that's exciting, but I know almost nothing more about him, and I can't go back any farther in the Weatherly line, and I would love to be able to do that. Um, my favorite ancestor that I research is my great grandfather, Greenberry Holder. And people ask me, where did Greenberry come from? Well, if you go back and do a search for greenberries in these databases, you'll find that there's scores and scores of them. And my Greenberry was named for an uncle, and that uncle had a child named Greenberry, and so there's another whole line that comes down. But I've gone back with my holders quite a ways back, but I'm looking for more information there. His wife, don't you love the name Ancy Bell? And you don't know how many times that's misspelled, but Ancy Bell Penelope Swords um, is uh, uh, is one of my favorite people too. And I keep going backwards in the Swords line, and so I'm looking for as far back in the Swords as I can get. I can get back into Alabama, but I'm looking for Ancy Bell, her father, John Newton Swords, and many members of her family worked in a factory in Roswell, Georgia, in 1860 in the census. He's gone after that, and it's my understanding he died in Roswell, but I'm not sure when. So that's a brick wall. And then going farther back beyond him is also gets tricky. So those are kind of the highlights of my brick walls. I've got Ewan and I were talking about uploading my GEDCOM file to WikiTree, And I went back and had to look, and I had over 13,000 names. And well, I've been doing it for 64, almost 65 years. But um, uh, you have a constraint of 5,000 names for a file. So I'm dependent on Eowyn and Azure for breaking up my GenCom file and getting material in here. But if you go to WikiTree, I'm sorry, if you go to my heritage, I have a tree out there. Family search, I've put a lot out there. Ancestry, there's a tree out there. So, feel free to go looking. I claim immunity from source citations only because I nobody told me when I got started that I had to do that. And even Elizabeth Shown Mills once told me that she didn't have source citations for some of her earlier researched people. So I'm telling a tale on Elizabeth. So, what questions do you all have?
Yeah, it looks like we have a few in the chat. Anne had asked about your family trees, and we can get those. If we can get those links from you, we can add them to the space page.
No, I was just going to say I do have family trees on line at Ancestry and at my heritage, and of course I put stuff up on Family Search. Um, I have not updated the family trees on Ancestry and my heritage, and the reason for that is I'm a Roots Magic user, and my Roots Magic software connects with those services and uh, shows some hints on those providers. Those two, Family Search and uh, Fold, and what's the last one, Drew? Fold 3? No, 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 no,
Well,
no, no, no. It's Find My Past.
yeah, but right.
But the reason that I haven't uploaded new GenComs is I'm told by the people at My Heritage that if I take the tree down that I have there and load a new one, I'll get all new hints on everyone that I've already worked. And I can't afford that time.
From Anne, George, on your trees, if you can, photos, can we use them on your WikiTree family? So
Absolutely.
asking if we can. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I own them all, or I have the permissions.
Let's see. The next one is from Amanda. George, is there any part of the tree you don't want us to touch?
And this is a more than just your tree. This is within 7 degrees. So if there's anybody linked, like in-laws or such, is also
So, Drew.
Yeah, I don't, well, I can't think of anything on mine. I know when you were
No.
showing the list of countries and states, that's when I
Yeah,
saw you for Ireland, you had Cavan and Leash, and I realized those were not from George's direct ancestors. Those were
that's
from
right.
mine.
No, let's
No,
get
go.
through the questions, and I've got one more thing to
Oh,
share.
okay. Oh, and then everybody was just talking about how wonderful it is that you had that treasure from your family.
And I'm the pack rat, and I'm the family archivist. So over the years, people have given me Bibles and prayer books and all sorts of things. Ask me, am I sorry for that? Absolutely not. Those family Bibles can contain a wealth of information. And I
Yeah,
mentioned before my great grandmother, Ansie Bell Penelope Swords. I actually have a prayer book of hers, and it's the only signature that I have of hers is in the front of that book.
that's
So,
amazing.
so I think the next thing we need to do with our genealogy is pull all those original handwritten documents and hire um, handwriting experts to give us analyses.
About the personalities. Yeah, that's great. I like that idea. That's cool. Yeah, it looks like Dave's already got your Goodlow Morgan and Reuben Morgan added. So you can see
Okay,
when we
Dave,
first
keep going.
started,
Keep
there
going
was
past Reuben.
yeah. Keep going. Yeah, there's nobody there now. We've already got some people being added, so there's definitely work being done.
Yeah, and I see
So this is really
Chris
exciting.
Waller. Yeah, it stops at Reuben.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
merit line seems to, I got you connected to WikiTree through the merits. And
Okay.
they seem to have more information on that line.
Yeah, the fellow who wrote me back was on those Patterson papers was telling me who married who. So those are always fun.
Yeah, and so
George, I have
if
a question
anybody's
for you.
wondering where to get, oh, go ahead.
Okay. Looking at your direct pedigree, it doesn't look like you have any French Canadian or Italian roots. So none of the two ethnic specialties that I have that are going to be helpful. But
Well, I have a second cousin
ooh,
once removed who married an Italian from Milwaukee, and that's the only Italian in the family that I know of.
So
okay.
far, we'll have to
So
see.
far.
Okay. There's a challenge. Now, is that second cousin
Yep.
on WikiTree yet?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So
Well,
if
Okay.
you're looking where to work, there is right on George's profile. If you're wondering, he is Morgan 19809. Right here at the top of his profile is the tree apps icon. If you click on that, it will pull up all the different tree apps for his profile. And it's going to automatically default to the last place you were or the fan tree. If you go to the top, we have CC7 views.
If you see at the top of the screen there, sorry that there are those of you who don't have the have audio. Could you move back to that screen with the fan chart?
Oh, sure.
The easiest line that I've worked on is of all time. If you look at the top of the screen there, you'll see Martin Weatherly and Martha Ball. Martha Ball is a descendant of a cousin who married into George Washington's line. Martha Ball became Martha. She was Martha Dandridge at one point, and Martha Washington. Yeah. So, but the Ball family of Virginia, I can trace them all the way back to England, back to Oliver Cromwell,
Wow.
because they fled England just before Cromwell reached their house. But
Wow.
they migrated to Virginia and they became a prominent family there. But
Well,
so that,
So a well documented line.
yeah, it's
yeah,
not the Dandridge, it's George Washington's mother was the Ball, Mary Ball, I think,
Mary Ball,
Washington. And she's,
Augustine's wife.
yeah, so they're closely related. Again, the Ball. So George is a cousin of, we know there are no descendants of George Washington, but George is a cousin of George
Nice.
Washington through the Ball line. Yeah.
That's
I know
pretty
you got some
cool.
other stuff. Can I quickly talk about the connections between me and George genealogically? People wonder, well,
Yeah.
because you say, well, I'm 50% from the South. My mother's family has all been in the South since the 1600s, and in South Carolina for a lot of that. George's is 100% Southern with family from the Carolinas. In fact,
I had one from Pennsylvania.
I have some of those, but yeah, really, it's just Southern. And of course, George came with me to visit my family years ago,
Oh,
and we did research in Newberry. Now, George did not have any, or didn't know he had any connections to Newberry, South Carolina. We went to the courthouse. I looked up things for my family. We got back home, and George realized that some of his ancestors from Georgia came from the Pickens area, Pickens district of South Carolina, the Northwest
Pendleton.
area, and from Newberry. And it turned out, so the next time we went, we actually looked back at the courthouse again for George. It was Isaac Mitchell and the Satterwhites. And if your folks run into Satterwhites and Isaac Mitchell, those names are from Newberry before, So that was funny. Another little trivia bit is one of George's direct ancestors served in the very first North Carolina legislature. And so what was interesting about that was I work on the Bodie family, Boddie is one of the more common spellings. And the North Carolina branch, not the one I'm descended from, is kind of well known from Revolutionary War times. In fact, on Finding Your Roots, Skip Gates had the actor Billy Crudup on there, and somebody contacted me and said, they're talking about Nathan Bodie. And it turned out Billy Crudup was descended from Nathan Bodie, one of my cousins, distant cousins, and Nathan Bodie served in the first North Carolina legislature. So, in other words, at the same time as George's ancestor, but they weren't in the same house. They were in the two different houses, but they probably knew each other, right? So that's the
Yeah.
thing.
They
And
went out after work, tomcatting to the pubs.
yeah, they probably did. Went out drinking. And one last one, which I just think is kind of funny. George started working on a line that married into his family called the Hazels. And I said, that's a common, sir. I know that name. I grew up with people named Hazel in my hometown. And the person that married into his family was named Darling Hazel, which is a great name. And I thought, well, wait
Yeah.
a minute.
There's a guy.
It was a guy named Darling Hazel. And I go to my files. I said, George, I have a Darling Hazel. And I said, but it can't be the same guy. We're looking at George's, we're looking at mine. And they were born about 10 years apart. I did a little more research, and the two Darling Hazels were like first cousins. They were both named after their
Wow.
grandfather, Darling Hazel. And by the way, that Darling Hazel's mother was a Darling. That's where he got his first name from. So
Wow.
again, funny
Not a
connections,
term of
but
endearment.
what's that, George?
Yeah.
Not a term of endearment.
A term, well,
Did
yeah.
both.
So, so, so
Oh,
we
my
haven't found
darling,
a genealogical connection yet. So directly.
That's great.
If
All right.
George wants any of his early English ones looking at, I'm happy to do that. That's more my bag than the CC7s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's great. Thank you,
But
Anne.
if I have details
Thank you.
Yeah.
somehow.
So on the
My ancestors did many of my lines arrived in the early 1700s, and they camped out in Maryland, and then in about 1772 they'd run out of land in Maryland, so they decided they were going to all of the members of that family, the Alexanders who lived on the Eastern Shore, they all packed up their wagons, came around the top of the Chesapeake Bay, picked up a preacher on the way, a Presbyterian preacher, and then they came down I-95, or what is now I-95, the Great Wagon Road, and then ultimately into North Carolina, and they got as far as where Charlotte is now, and that's where they camped out.
Wow, that's great. Great information. Okay, so showing here the CC7 view for the tree apps. So this is a great place to check out and see where you could get started. The different columns, of course, shows if there are parents, siblings, spouses, or children. So if you see any that have
Wow.
nothing there, or you see these brick walls here for the parents, the blue, of course, means that it's missing the father. The pink is it's missing the mother, and the purple is it's missing both.
Mm-hmm.
So those are great places to start working. And of course, if they don't have children, maybe you can see if they actually have children. Maybe it's missing a spouse. You can add spouse, and then the spouse's relatives. So great place to find where to work. You can also do a filter for a place. I kind of think there might be a few Georgia in here, so you can type that in there and zero in on a location. So that's a great resource is
Try
that
Italy.
CC7 views.
That's great.
Italy. Nope, no Italy.
Oh no,
Canada.
not
How
yet.
Nope, no Canada.
how
Not
much
Not
yet.
yet. Yeah.
information has he got on the Russian side?
That really is on Drew's side of the family,
Yeah.
and I have his ancestry going back. I don't know, 5 generations.
A few. So don't do any of mine because WikiTree Challenge already did mine 4 years ago. So yeah, you don't need to be doing mine, my
Well, it's
ancestry.
within 7 degrees, so
That's
it'll
true. That's
be
true.
all any profiles within 7 degrees will be adding.
Okay.
Also, it'll be a
Uh,
lot of. It won't be direct ancestors. It'll be all the in-laws and whatnot.
Ah,
Yeah.
So it'll
gotcha.
it helps your count, and it ends up helping other people a lot when they come. Uh, anytime we get Russia
Oh yeah.
stuff
The
sorted
wine
out.
glasses and the Grotowitzes and yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Sure.
All those. That's
Yeah,
fine.
so we'll be filling on all those collateral lines. Although there are those like Anne who do like to go as far back as they can. So there's people who like to focus on different areas, even if they fall
Oh
out
yeah.
this outside of the CC7. So we get all kinds of participants for wherever they like to work. And it looks like Celia, you already connected as a relative
Yep, through the Morgan
for him.
line. I'm 16th
Really?
Awesome.
cousin, it looks like.
Wow.
Well,
Awesome.
it's probably through
Love
the
it.
it's the Morgan connection. Let's see who the actual relative is. Do. Eh.
That's one of
Um,
the fun things too, is to see how everybody gets connected once those lines all get
no,
distinct
it's back through
connections.
the Alexander line to someone in
Mhm.
1400. So I'm not believing that yet, but we'll see.
Right.
First connections are the dramatic ones, then we start getting closer and closer.
So where is everybody wanting to start working? Does anybody have any other questions? I think we've got them all now from the chat.
Can I add something?
Oh, yes, please do.
There's one other, I'll call it a brick wall, that if anybody wants to do a special project. My great grandfather, Greenberry Holder, and his wife, uh, in their family unit, there were 12 children, and my mother's mother was the youngest of their children. But there is a son named Briscoe Washington Holder, and Briscoe was born in 1877 in Floyd County, Georgia, and he died in 1949 in St. Louis. He was my biggest brick wall for many years. And then one of our podcast listeners sent an email one Sunday morning that said, "Oh, the Missouri death certificates are online." And so I immediately started looking at that. Well, I found his death certificate, and the next morning I'm on the phone to the funeral home to see what records they might have, and also to the cemetery. And it turns out he had been buried in a pauper's grave and had no stone. So Briscoe never married. He was, I think, an itinerant farm worker, even up um, into Canada at one point for a season. But Briscoe, it turns out, is not Ansibel Penelope's child. He had
Oh,
an affair with someone else whose name is listed on the Social Security application and on his death certificate. So, as Elizabeth Ford.
okay.
So really Briscoe's antecedents going back up that way. I'd like to know more, but any life events for Briscoe. Ultimately, what I did is uh, I ordered a stone with his name, his dates, and Drew came up with the epitaph for it, never forgotten. And so that was
Nice.
installed a number of years ago. But anyway, Briscoe is near and dear to my heart.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm sure somebody will take that on. Wonderful. Okay, anybody else want to share where they're going to work or have any other questions? Okay, Anne, go ahead.
Yeah, since I'm part of the Appalachian Project, I gave them a lot of information because I know most of the northern and southern states, or most of them, are in Appalachia, and so I know they're going to help you with all your family, Greg and George.
Great, great.
Yeah,
I'm
George has
very
been
grateful
taking
you
Because
all work on this. I'm
yeah,
very
yeah,
George has
grateful.
been taking a deep dive into Scots Irish.
I already did Martin, your grandfather, your great grandfather. He is an Appalachian from Alabama, and so he's all set.
Mhm.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and let everybody get to work and look for this video. Will be up on YouTube sometime later today. And of course, please join us on Saturday at noon Eastern Time for the weekend chat. We'll be checking in with y'all and seeing what progress has been made, answering questions,
Oh,
and
I
just
actually
chatting about
have a
the week.
question.
Okay,
Do
go for it.
you, I guess, do you want this to be a secret, or are you available if we end up with questions as we're working on the tree?
Yeah, George and
Well,
Drew, are you going to be wanting to uh, be in the Discord chat, or do you want
I
to have spoilers?
Uh, well, I mean, the questions, well, it's up to George, of course. I would say I can. I've used Discord. I don't know that George has. Um,
no.
but I could get in there and look at any questions and pass them along to George, if you want to do it
Okay.
that way.
We can
I'll be
Okay.
also
glad to. And that way it
message.
sort of still minimizes any spoilers. So,
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so
I'm excited.
Great.
I really am so excited to have anybody else work on my tree is just, it's a gift from heaven. So I appreciate this more than I can tell you.
Well, we're pleased to do it for you. We really do enjoy and have fun with this. So we'll see what we can do. And thank you everybody for joining us again. We'll hopefully see you all on Saturday. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.